All right, so live on Facebook. Live on YouTube. And live over on Facebook. All right, so let's get my camera a little bit better here. Moving one without moving the other is a fun little challenge. Sorry, you guys over on YouTube. Get a little bit of a carnival ride, I think. Can't seem to get the floor. Maybe that'll be better. All right, that'll work. That will work. Good morning. I don't know who's. Hey, it's Sandy. Who's on? And there's the option of bringing them on camera again. Which I know is something you really want. All right, so I think I'm ready. Are you guys ready? So who who saw the picture, but not that you can respond to me. So so I suppose that's really kind of silly. So today's focus is hamstrings. And while you may never be able to say get your head to the floor in a straddle, on a standing straddle fold, or put your face between your shins kind of thing, doesn't mean you can't get a really great stretch in through your backside. So that's where we're going. And it hopefully will maybe end up looking a little bit unusual, right? And whatever that is for you, right? So if you have really long hamstrings, you may actually be able to get into that position where your shoulders are behind your straight legs. But if you have really short hamstrings, maybe touching your shins is a really big deal, right? So wherever it is for you, remember to keep your spine nice and long, right? So I say it all the time, if you need to touch your toes, bending your knees is fine, right? But in a forward fold in yoga, right, keeping your legs straight, if you never touch your toes, you can still feel the sensation, right? Remember that it's the focused attention on what the body is doing in this moment that matters. And if you continuously do something that is not good for you, right? Knowing it's not good for you, but you really want to touch your toes, that's not yoga anymore, right? One of the principles of yoga is non-harming, and that includes your body, yourself, right? I mean, you're not going to go out and kill your neighbor's dog, clearly, but every time you enter into a yoga pose that's not good for you, that's harming too, right? So that's what we practice on the mat. That's what we're going to practice today. So remember to just listen to your body and do what is right for you. If you get into all these crazy poses, lovely. And if you don't approach anything like that, still very great, right? You end up with that super cool yoga buzz and it's all good. And your body feels good, right? Instead of bad. So let's come to a seated position on the mat. And remember, you can absolutely prop if you need to prop, certainly. Making sure that you're upright on the pelvis, whatever that takes here. Engaging your belly, so lift the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up, sitting tall through your sides, relaxing into your shoulders. Go ahead and close your eyes. And right even here, put that really long aligned spine in your brain. So the shoulders are down and back, the chest is open and lifted. And again, if it helps to prop your hips up a little higher, then make that happen. Keep that focus inward and begin to simply observe your breath. allowing it to expand. Finding that just beyond comfortable breath. Staying connected to that place. Internally focused, nice little breaths, engaged belly. Let's go ahead and extend the arms out to the sides. With an inhale, we're going to stretch them up. And then exhale to bring them back down again. We'll do it again. Once more. Come on back to the top, inhale. Exhale, just the right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip. Take a nice big breath here, lengthening the sides of your body. And then inhaling on your way back up. Exhaling over to your left. Big full breath here. Back to center on an inhale. Once more like that on each side. Take it right. Inhaling back to center. And over to the left. With the inhale, making your way back up to the middle. Exhaling both arms. Stay nice and tall through your spine here. Bring your left hand to the right knee, right hand behind your back. Little baby twist over to the right. Keeping the pelvis rooted, spine really tall, shoulders and hips relaxed as much as you can. And then releasing that to come back through the middle over to that second side. So let's release that, coming back to center, making our way to that first side again. Use your arms a little bit more this time. So really press into the right arm to sit up a little taller. Maybe pull with the left to rotate around a little deeper. Take your time as you go. Notice where there's areas that maybe you can get in there a little bit deeper this time. Maybe there's areas that are a little stuck. Sometimes as you hold, you can rotate around a little deeper. And then we're going to release that. Coming back through the center, take the second side. Same idea, see where it takes you, keeping the spine nice and tall. We're going to release that. Back to the middle again. Bringing the hands to the knees here. Moving with the breath. On an inhale, draw the shoulders together on the back and lift the chest toward the ceiling. And then exhale and round through your spine. Following your breath in and out like that. Moving nice and evenly up and down the spine. Let's go once more in each direction. And then find yourself a middle. So sitting nice and tall here, we're going to take the fingers and interlace behind the lower back. Draw your shoulder blades together, reach your knuckles for the floor, and they probably tuck very easily here. And you can stay here if this is a nice little stretch. Maybe hinge forward from the hip, think belly button to heels. Keep the knuckles stretching away from your shoulders, and if you want to lift them up off of your lower back, go ahead. Big full breaths here. On an inhale, make your way back up again. Before you release your fingers, think about which thumb you have on top back there. Releasing. We're going to switch which foot is in front. Still heels aligned as much as you can. If you need to make some adjustments, if you're a little off on your hips or something now, making all of that right. And then taking the fingers to interlace behind your back again with the other thumb on. So shoulders pull together, knuckles reach away, and we hinge forward here. Same idea, you can lift your hands up off of your lower back if that feels good. We're going to take one more breath on this side here. And then hinge back up. Releasing your hands, go ahead and extend your legs out long. So we're there a little bit. If it feels good to wiggle around, certainly do. We want to sit up nice and tall here. So adjusting the seat if you feel like you need to. Belly is working. The hands can stay at the hips if you prefer, or reaching the arms up and then hinging forward. Letting the hands fall, maybe to your feet, maybe not anywhere near it. Okay? Keeping the spine nice and long. Just a gentle stretch to begin, and as you hold, maybe you're able to move in a little bit deeper, or as you hold, maybe you're able to find that you can relax your shoulders away from your ears or pull them a little closer together on your back. Just kind of check in and see where your body is in that moment and how you can make it, I hate to use the word better, but better for yourself, more correct for you. How's that? It's kind of fussy, but you get the idea. So with an inhale, we're going to make our way back up. Releasing the arms. And let's open into a straddle. So I'm going to turn sideways on your mat. You can or not, doesn't really matter here. And you just want to move into a stretch that's enough. We're going to be in these places later, so if you want to see where you can go, you have another opportunity. But make sure that, again, you're upright on your pelvis here, your belly's still working, your spine is tall. So let's stretch the arms up. We're going to rotate around toward the left leg and then fold over the left leg. Let your hands again just fall to either side. We're actually going to use the floor here a little bit. So this right hip likes to get a little light. Make sure it's properly grounded. Shoulders are down and back, the chest is open and lifted. And then just kind of finding the stretch, whether it's more to the inside, whether it's more on your lower back, maybe it's your hamstring, your left hamstring, or your right. And then using the hands, if you press a little harder into the left hand here, you might be able to rotate your belly button around toward the thigh a bit. We're going to take one more breath. With the inhale, lifting back up again. We're going to rotate around to the right, do the same idea, second side. And again here, root into that left cheek. Keeping your spine nice and tall. Moving into the fold wherever it's going to be on this side. And then maybe just kind of steering around with your arms. On an inhale, make your way back up. Releasing to the center. And then taking the left hand, we're going to pin it up underneath the right thumb. Reach the right arm up. We're going to take it over to the left. So drawing the shoulder back, looking up toward the ceiling, unless that bothers your neck, of course. See here if you can bring your left elbow more to your inner thigh. And then you can kind of use that elbow into the thigh to press away and imagine rotating your belly button toward the ceiling. So keep the pelvis rooted, the spine really, really tall here. And just opening up the shoulder, taking nice big breaths. Using this arm kind of as a little bit of extra body weight to pull you into the stretch a little deeper. Maybe yes, maybe no. Finding where you are. And then inhaling as we lift back up again. Releasing the hands, and we're going to switch sides here. So take the right hand up underneath the left thigh, reaching up, and then hinging over to the right. If this is good, this is where you are. Rooting the pelvis, lengthening the spine, maybe digging the elbow in a little bit deeper, rotating the belly more toward the ceiling. Just see where you need it, and take it gradual and slow. Sometimes it's like no way at the beginning, and then after a breath or two, actually make your way in there a little deeper. With an inhale, we're coming back up to the center. Releasing the hands, bring them to the middle of your straddle. So upright on the pelvis, really tall through the spine here. Let's come forward into a fold. So remember, it's sort of like touching your toes. Don't worry about where your hands go. Find the stretch, whether it's in your hips more, whether it's in your hamstrings, your back, wherever else you might be feeling this, right? And if you feel like you need somewhere for your hands to go, reach towards your toes out. That'll help keep the shoulders back, even if you're not very deep, right? So let's take one more breath. We'll hinge back up again, and then bring the legs back together. And just kind of wiggle and bounce. Sometimes they get a little stuck when you stay in one position a little long. From there, we're going to make our way around onto all fours. Grounding the four corners of your hands, let's come to down dog. So however you feel like getting there, and allowing yourself to kind of wiggle and stretch into it. Sinking in, activate the arms, pressing down into the hands, sinking down into your heels. From here, take your left foot, your big and second toe there, and straddle your right heel or Achilles tendon, really, pressing down with the left foot. See if you can get your right heel a little bit closer toward the floor. Maybe it still doesn't touch, don't worry about it. In that direction. Releasing that side. Extending through both heels and see if you notice a difference. And then switch, bringing the right big and second toe, pressing the left heel toward the floor. And then releasing that side. Again, you're just kind of hanging in the middle, checking in, noticing any differences from before. We're going to walk the feet forward, come to a standing fold. Let's open the feet a little bit wider than normal. So not our straddle just yet, just say wider than the shoulders or so. And then for a moment, just let yourself hang. So we're nice and even on the feet. Let your head and neck rest. You can even kind of let your shoulders go for a second here. Be a little bit more loose. If you like a bend in your knees, take a bend in your knees. And then take the hands and walk them over to the right. Let the body weight shift a bit. Again, still be kind of ragdollish. Second side. And then back to the middle. So let's walk our feet back in. Slide the hands up to the thighs and press away, coming parallel-ish to the floor. Belly's in, lean on the legs if you feel like you need to lean on the legs. Keeping the shoulders back, that nice neutral spine here. Bending back into the knees, sit into a chair. So hang on if you need to hang on. Come center if you like, extend the arms if that's you. Nice and even on the four corners of the feet. On an inhale, stretch to the ceiling. And then release it. Right? So maybe kind of wiggle around a little bit. We're going to work into some sun salutes here. So you definitely want to get moving again, but take your time, right? Connected to your breath. If you need an extra breath in something, take it, right? So up at the top of the mat, feet underneath the hip bones. With the inhale, we're going to stretch the arms to the ceiling. And then exhale, take yourself over into fold. With the inhale, come halfway up. And then exhaling, step yourself back into a plank. Take the knees, if you like the knees, drop on down to the belly. Everything to the floor together as much as possible. Hands next to the side ribs. And on an inhale, roll your shoulders, nice little baby cobra. Releasing that, up and back into down dog. And then inhaling to step forward into fold. Halfway up with an inhale. And then exhale back over again. Coming all the way up, reach to the ceiling. Exhale the arms, releasing. Do that again, just like that. Inhaling up. Exhale and fold. Halfway up. Exhaling yourself back to your plank and taking it down to the belly on that same exhalation if you can. Inhales, you roll for cobra. Maybe add the arms a little bit. And then releasing that up and back, down dog. Stepping forward, inhale. Next inhale, halfway up. Take it back over. Come all the way up. And exhale the arms. So adding on with the next one, of course, skipping it if you want to skip it, if that's what you need to be. So inhale, sit into a chair this time. And then exhale over into your fold. Come halfway up. Exhale as you step back into your plank and down to the belly. Everything to the floor together. Roll into cobra on the inhale. Releasing that back to down dog. Everything off the floor together. Inhale the right foot forward into a lunge. Bring your toes to your fingers. Drop the back knee or heel. And then inhale, lift your upper body. Exhale back down. Step back to down dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale down. Inhale cobra. And then exhale, release it back to down dog. Stepping the left foot forward, inhale. Heel or knee to the mat, lifting the upper body. Exhale it back down again, step back to down dog. Forward to plank. And then down to the belly. Roll to cobra. Release, back to down dog. And then hold down dog or drop into child's pose. Focus on your breath here. When you start to move a little quicker, the breath can get a little out of control. So listen to where you need to be. So one more nice big breath where you are. And if you did drop down, go ahead and lift back to down dog. Inhaling as you step the feet forward, we'll come back to standing fold. Next inhale brings us halfway up. Exhaling back over again. And then into a chair. Exhaling to release it. Right, so enough of those. We're going to move into our standing poses here. So from here, we're going to begin in a warrior one. So the right foot steps back, little short step. All 10 toes point forward so the hips can be square to the top of the mat. Bending into the left knee, make sure your right heel stays grounded. Nice and even on the four corners of the feet. If you feel like it's a little narrow, make it a little wider. You don't want to go too crazy, but you don't want to fall down the whole time either. So feeling steady on the feet, square into the hips. You can even use your hands a little bit if that works for you. And the hands can stay on the hips or they can extend toward the ceiling. And if you'd like to look up, make sure your arms are in line with your ears so the head just doesn't flop back. Keeping the back of the neck nice and long, chest is open. And then keeping it as is, other than the fingertips, we're going to take the fingertips to interlace behind the lower back again. Shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles reach toward the floor or toward the heel, really, I suppose. From here, bring the upper body forward, folding over the left leg-ish here. Notice what happens in the feet. Did you lean? Are you rocking one side to the other? Staying stable on the feet, square through the hips. How about here, taking the left leg straighter? So maybe it's all the way straight, maybe it's not. Don't worry about it. Hands again, maybe lifting up off the lower back or not. We're going to release the hands to either side of the left foot here. Little baby bend into the knee, and if you need to hop the foot in first, certainly do. Coming up on the right toes, we're going to lift that leg away from the floor. So ideally parallel to the floor, try not to let this right hip do the work. Otherwise it kind of kicks up too high. We want the right hamstring to be doing the work here. Well, the left leg's working too, of course. So the hands can stay on the floor. Climbing up to the thigh maybe. Flying if you want to fly your arms. Big full breaths. And then bend back into the left knee, step way back into lunge. So a big step back. Sinking into your hips here. Let's take the left leg straight again. I'm just noticing a little bit different stretch you get. Pressing the left hip back if you're not feeling enough quite yet. You can even flex the left toes. Keep your shoulders back. Use props if you need to use props, certainly. Releasing that, bend back into the knee for this lunge. Climb the hands up, lifting the upper body. Hang on if you need. Extend the arms toward the ceiling if you like. And then releasing it, we'll step forward back to the top of the mat. All right. So let's go second side. Same idea. Short step back to begin. Left foot. And again, you're just kind of check in with your feet. Make sure they're where you need them to be. Wiggle and modify, of course, if you need. And then when you're ready, making sure the hips are square, extending the arms. Releasing just the arms and releasing the fingers behind the back. Open the chest, stretch the knuckles away, and then come forward. Even on your feet, take your time as you move. See about taking the right leg straight. Even on the feet, square through the hips, long through your spine. Releasing the fingertips to the floor. Little bend into the right knee here, coming up on the back toes so you can lift the left leg. Hips are square, hands stay on the floor if they need. Maybe you don't need. And the hands can climb or reach. Releasing that, we're going to step way back into our lunge. Let the hips descend. Feel that nice stretch in the hips. And then we're going to take the right leg straight again. Adding in pieces, whatever you need here. Right? So if you're ready for more, you walk your hands back a bit. You flex your foot. Any little add-ons. Bending back into the knee, getting stable here, and then climbing up again. Lifting the upper body, hang on, or reach. And then release the arms and step back to the top of the mat. Sometimes that's the hardest part, getting back. So from here, we're going to take a nice big step back with the right foot. And then come into that straddle again here. So check it out. Feel even on the four corners of your feet. Belly is in, spine's tall. Hands are going to be on the hips to begin. Pull the elbows toward each other just a little bit back there. Keep the spine nice and long. And we're going to come forward into a half fold kind of place. So you're coming parallel-ish to the floor. If you need the support to hang onto your thighs, certainly do. The tendency is to bend the knees or to sink the hips back. Try not to do that. Spine stays tall. And the hands are going to stay here, whether it's supporting on the thighs or up on the hips, and come on over into whatever your full fold is. And see if you can just let your spine extend toward the floor. Sometimes the hands get there and they actually hold us back. Right? So keeping the length in the spine, shoulders back, allow the hands to come toward the mat. And here, of course, if you need to bend your knees, we're going to take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around the big toes. We're still nice and even on the four corners of the feet, though. Right? Try not to roll to the outside edges of your feet. See about bending your elbows out to the side, shoulders pulled together on the back. You can even pull on your toes a little bit to draw yourself deeper. And then release the toes. Take the fingers again to your lower back. Shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles reach away, maybe up off of your lower back. So a little baby bend in the elbows. If you're a hyperextender, you can kind of hyperextend and lose the stretch entirely. And then I'll release the hands back to the floor again. So we're going to move a little bit here, making sure your hands touch the floor, and you can have a little bend in your knees here if you need. Right? So we want to be stable on the feet, belly pulled in. We're going to walk the hands forward into sort of a wide-legged plank idea, and we're going to bring the hips down. You can let them come down even lower than normal. You're up on your toes back there. Feel it? And then walk your hands back in. Do that again. Walk forward. Let the hips sink. And then walk back. Go once more like that. And then back into your straddle. And just see if you feel any different now than you did before. So here, take your feet just a step wider. If you are wide enough and there ain't no way you're getting a step wider, then don't, right? But if you can take your feet a little step wider, take them a little step wider. And if you can take them a little step wider, maybe take them a little step wider. So you're going to do that until you feel like you could not get yourself out of it, and then you're going to take a step back. Because you always want to feel, I'm going to use the words in control, but you know, you get the idea, right? So you don't feel like you're going to break in half, is the idea. This time, turn your fingers around to point behind you. And then you're going to walk your hands behind or back. Hands are shoulder width apart. If you're low, sit back. If you're not low, don't do that. Just hang on for a second. I'm coming back. So if you're down, you might be sitting on your hands, and that's not a bad thing, because now you got to get yourself out of this. You're going to hinge forward again, push into the hands, and press yourself back to your feet. Walking the hands back up, walking the feet back in. Walk them into your plain old regular straddle. Allow yourself to hang for a second. Maybe a little bend in the knees feels good. And then bring the hands back to the hips. Support on the thighs if you need. Coming halfway up. Pause in the middle. and then all the way up. Release your hands, step back to the top of your mat. So let's work with big toe. May or may not actually involve your big toe, but we're going to do our standing balance and hopefully get a nice extension into the lifted leg. So wall if you need the wall, of course. Shifting all the way over into your left foot, we're just going to lift the right leg. And this might be as good as it gets. Totally fine. You're standing on one foot, you're balancing. Your belly's working, your spine is tall, right? Maybe reach behind the thigh, lifting the leg a little bit. And you can absolutely stay here. If you want to extend, but you know there's no way you're grabbing your toe, or you need to come back to this place, then this is where you want to be. You can work your way a little deeper, hanging onto the shin, and then maybe finding your big toe. So the idea is to stand up nice and tall, and then take the right leg straight. So you may be able to hang onto your toe, you may be hanging onto your thigh, right? Shoulders down and back, left leg is straight. Release what you got. And we'll take the second side. So see what happens if you need to shift to the wall after that first time, that's fine. Okay. All the way to the right, lifting the left. And then you decide what to add on. Play with it. Right? Yeah, this is good. What about that? No, that's not good. Step it back. Right? You can find your toe. And then extend the left leg. So straight forward. The body's nice and tall here. Take one more breath. And then we're going to release it. All right. So let's inhale, stretch the arms up. And we're going to come forward into fold. Nice and gentle all the way down. And when you get there, hang. So maybe a little bend into the knees. You can grab opposite elbow. Let your head go. And then from here again, go ahead and open your feet into that just wider than your shoulders place. You may need a little more, you may need a little less. Play with it, see what happens. So, I forgot to go someplace. Anyway, so from here, take your right hand between your feet. And you can bend and wiggle and drop your hips, lift them, whatever works, right? Shift the weight, whatever you gotta do here. See about taking that right hand behind and reaching up toward the outside of your right hip. Somewhere in that vicinity. Take your left hand behind your back, over toward the outside of your right hip as well, and maybe your fingers are over there. Maybe they're not, don't worry about it. If you can find your fingers, lovely. See if you can find four corners of both feet onto the floor. Hang on to your bun. Can you take your legs straighter? Take a big breath. And release what you got. Same idea on the second side, see what happens. So the left hand just kind of comes between the feet. You wiggle and bend and stretch a little bit. Maybe you can bring your left hand behind your heel, reaching up toward the outside of your left hip. And my feet have to change a lot to get it there to begin with, right? How about the right hand behind the back? Maybe finding the fingers, maybe not quite. You can use a strap here if you really feel like you need to. We're going to find the four corners of both feet again. And then we're going to see if we can take the legs a little straighter. And then release all of that. Again, take a moment and just let yourself hang. From here, step it back into a down dog. Dropping down to the knees, sit back into child's pose. We'll come to sit up on the heels. And then let's bring the legs around the front. So sitting up nice and tall here, belly's in, we're upright on the pelvis. We're gonna take the right foot and, well, bend our knee, not the foot. Grab onto the foot and lift the leg. So you can leave your actual foot low, you can bring it up a little higher, not straight necessarily. Because we wanna pull on the foot and draw the knee up underneath the armpit and see if you can actually pull it behind the armpit. Pull it, and then take it straight or straightish, right? Sink forward again, and then bend and pull it back. So do that a few times, forward and back. And then pull it back as deep as it's gonna go for now, for today. So you can hang here, releasing the right hand, maybe it can come up underneath the leg and you can sort of hang out here. But see where your knee and shoulder are in relationship to each other and see if, it's still pretty crazy, right, already? But see if you can bring your shoulder kind of behind your knee, right? So you wiggle and you shift and maybe you straighten and maybe you bend, right? Until the shoulder's closer in that direction. Take your left hand to the outside of your right foot. Take your right hand right to your sit bone as much as you can. And then take the leg straighter. And maybe it goes straight and maybe it does not. The idea is to have the shoulder behind the ear, behind the knee, and maybe the leg is straight, and again, don't worry too much about that. Releasing that side. Wiggle. And then we'll go the second side. So bend the left knee, reach and grab for your foot, and lift it. So again, maybe the toes are a little lower, maybe they're roughly halfway, doesn't matter. Pull on the foot, bring it back, knee under the armpit-ish, maybe a little bit behind as you come in and out. So see where it'll go. We're gonna go one more time here. Pull it back as deep as it's gonna get. Hold here. Slide the left arm under. Maybe hold here. Maybe you can wiggle and bring the shoulder more behind the knee. The right hand grabs the outside of the left foot. The left arm right at the sit bone as close as you can get. And then the left leg goes straighter. Maybe straight, maybe not straight. Shoulder behind the knee is the point. And then release that side. Extending the legs, bouncing around. And then take the feet flat. Make sure you have someplace to go behind you. Hang on to your hamstrings and roll on down to your back. Knees into the chest, just rock a little bit, massaging your back. And then keep the knees into the chest. Take the shins vertical, so it kind of looks like you're stepping up on the ceiling. Reaching up and grabbing for the soles of the feet. And then wiggling, pull down, drawing your knees into that armpit place again, ish. And then just kind of shifting and maneuvering as you pull down. And maybe they go a little closer to the armpit, and maybe they still don't. They're always going a little bit closer, whether they're technically close or not. And you can rock side to side here. And then come to center, pull down evenly on the feet, draw them in as deep as you can into the armpit. In your brain, your knees are touching the floor. In your brain. Keep pulling down with the arms, push back into the hands with the feet. Push and pull in opposite directions. And then go ahead and release the feet, let them come to the floor. Take a second to find a neutral spine if you have to wiggle around a little bit, releasing it into the mat. And you can leave the soles or the knees together, or bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open and release to the sides. Nice and easy here, bring the knees back together. Let's open the arms out into a T position. Picking up the hips, take them to the right edge of your mat. Let your knees fall to the left. Relax the legs, the shoulders, maybe look over the right hand if you like. And since we worked into those hamstrings so much, if you want to extend either just your top leg, so the right leg maybe, or both legs reaching towards your left hand, you can add that or not. Take one more nice big breath. If you straighten your legs, bend, and come on back to center. Shift your hips. Taking it to the second side, hips over to the left, and the knees to the right. So again here, you decide what to add or not. If you want to take the leg or legs straight, go in there. Taking one more nice big breath. And then bending and coming back up to the middle. Finding your nice neutral spine again. Draw the knees into the chest and rock. Squeezing the knees in tight. Pull the forehead toward the knees. Let your spine round. And then release. Get really long again. Releasing the stretch. Bring your arms down by your sides. Wiggle until your body is comfortable. Feeling aligned. Prop if you need to prop for sure. And then rest. Release the muscles. Coming back slowly to the breath. And releasing control of the breath. Keeping the mind present. If it helps to stay focused on the breath, stay there, just simply observing. Keeping the mind present and quiet. Allowing yourself to rest. slowly draw in a deep, cleansing breath. And then let it go. Allowing the body to begin to wiggle, move, stretch. When you're ready, bringing the feet flat. Slowly rolling yourself to the side. Gently making your way back up to seated. Sitting well. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing, you guys. Hopefully that was fun. Hopefully you got someplace that you maybe didn't think you could. It's always kind of exciting when you find that, oh, that was unexpected. Even if it's not perfect, just something that was not already known. So have a great weekend. If you have requests or if you see a crazy yoga pose that you want to kind of explore, right, play with, well, how can I get closer to that? Certainly let me know, share images, or just reach out and holler at me. All right. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.